Old constitutional silver has been tough to come by lately, but fortunately, I got a $33.65 face value bag of older stuff. Hey everyone, it's RobFindsTreasure. Welcome back to my channel. You guys know I periodically like to do junk silver purchase and hunts. And as you know, my silver dealer knows that I like the older constitutional stuff, so he always makes a bag for me. And whenever it gets up to about $10 or $15, he gives me a text and says, I've got some stuff. Well, apparently he had a lot of stuff coming in the last couple of weeks, and he had almost $34 worth of older stuff and said, hey, if you want it, it's yours. So I went down there and I bought it. Now, I did pay up for this stuff. Typically, you're going to pay 25 to 30 times face for constitutional silver that's older, and that's about the range I paid for it. That being said, looks like we have quite a few Barber pieces in here, dimes and maybe some quarters and definitely a $half right there. I do see we have some commemorative halves and some SLQs, so I'm pretty excited to get into this bag. I think what we'll start off doing first is just get a quick dump out, take a look at what we got on the mat, and then after that, we'll get it sorted by denomination and type and go from there and see if we have any upgrades for my personal collection or any better dates, key dates, things like that, or some fun stuff that maybe we can offer up on one of the future streams. Let me go ahead and get the bag prepped and opened. We'll get a quick dump out and take a look at what we got. All right, definitely looks like a nice assortment of goodies here. Obviously, we have some really trash coins. Some of these coins, he said, were pretty rough shape, but he says he believes there's some decent coins in here as well. Now, as you know, he doesn't really care about better dates when it comes to junk silver, unless it's an obvious one like a 16D Merc dime or something like that. That being said, we've got it dumped out. I see quite the collection here. Let me go ahead and start getting it sorted, and I'll get you guys a look back after I've got it sorted. Now, I will not be going through here and checking all the dates. This should be an 1893 or 92, and it's an 1893. I won't be checking all the dates. I just quickly want to get them segregated by their design type and denominations, and then after that, we'll do the actual hunt to see if we have anything better. I'll be back in just a second with the sort, unless I happen to notice something while I'm sorting. All right, we have got them sorted. These are the $half. The commemoratives are here, and the Barber Half Dollars are there, no seated. These are the quarters, the Barbers, and the SLQs, no seated. We did have 2 seated dimes within all of these Barber dimes, and believe it or not, there's $12.70 face in just Barber dimes. Now, we do have one here that's really in terrible shape, but in contrast, for the same price, we got a pretty nice 1916. Looks like it was cleaned at some point, but still has great detail. So for every one of those, hopefully we have some more of these. I did notice some nicer ones in here, and I put those at the top of this stack. We'll save the Barber Dimes for last. That's going to take some time to sort and see if I have any better dates and upgrades for my book. Hopefully I do. But we'll start off, I guess, with the commemoratives and the Barber Half Dollars. Let me get these sorted. I'll be back in a second to see what we got. We have went ahead and sorted all the $half, and we're off to a pretty good start, pretty good assortment here. We'll get to that in a second, but I did get an 1892 Christopher Columbus Exposition $half, and I'll tell you, I don't see a lot of those. It is a slightly lower minted coin than the 1893s, I think by 100,000 or so. But either way, getting the set here, 1892, and then I got 2 1893s. These were actually the first U.S. commemorative $half ever minted. So again, nice seeing the set. We did get 2 Stone Mountain commemoratives. These are highly sought after by collectors. Although they're not in the greatest shape, they're still pretty nice coins to grab, especially in a grab bag. And then finally, we got a Booker T. Washington 1951. Decent details, but none of these commemorative $half are ones that I would need because I have higher grade examples, but always good to see them. As far as the Barber $half, we did pretty good. A lot of them are common and a lot of them are in bad shape, but there's a couple of better dates here at the end. We got from Philadelphia Mint, 1897, 1900, 1902, 06, 11, and 1912. From Denver Mint, we got the 06D and the 08D. And then the first San Francisco minted coin I saw was the 1909S. Slightly better date, but in this condition, really not. The 2 best dates of the lot are going to be 2 1913 S's, and this is a tougher date. And as you can see, this coin has most of Liberty, and the reverse looks pretty stunning to me for a circulated coin. And in this condition, it's probably a higher fine coin. I don't think it pushes VF, but it's definitely in that fine 12 to fine 15 range. And that puts it around a $70 to $80 coin. So I'll definitely take that, and hopefully it might upgrade my collection. And then we got a cleaned better date, 1915S. It is a slightly better date, but in this condition with the cleaning, probably pretty much what I paid for it. So still nice to see it though. Next thing I have to do is go through all of these coins, see if any upgrade my album. Maybe that one will. I don't think anything else will based on the condition, but we have to check. If I have an upgrade, I'll show it. If not, we'll move on to the Barber quarters next and see if we have any better dates in those. Went ahead and checked a couple of coins against the album. We do have 2 upgrades. This was the 1911 I had in my book, so definitely needed an upgrade. And the 1911 we got today is definitely a better example, as you can see. So that's one upgrade there. And then as expected, that's the 13S I had. We do have some Liberty showing, but not in the greatest shape. And compared to the one we got today, definitely an upgrade as well. So 2 different upgrades that I'll put in my book, put these back in the stack right there, and move on to the Barber quarters like I said. We have got the Barber quarters sorted. There's a lot of rough condition ones here, but there's a couple of better dates and some mints I don't see a lot of coins from. So that being said, take a look at this pretty nice 1892 O. That's in pretty nice shape. That might be an upgrader for me. I'll have to double check. Got quite a few O mints in here actually. 1892 O, 93 O, 95 O, 99 O, 1900 O, and 1980. So definitely happy with seeing 6 New Orleans minted Barber quarters. Definitely cool. As far as Philadelphia, 1897, 98, 02, 04, barely legible. We do have 2 better date 1905 Ps, but they're in pretty rough shape. In that condition, really nothing other than just a better date. 1908P, 1909P, 14P, and 2 1915Ps. The top one is in decent shape, but it does have a little bit of damage near the wording of quarter on the reverse. As far as Denver, only 3 different coins. 1907 Denver, 1914 Denver, and 2 1916 Denver. So I guess 4 different coins, but 3 different dates. We did get some San Francisco minted ones. 1900S, a better date. 1905S, again, rough shape, but still a better date. A 1909S, and we'll take that. So pretty good assortment of years, mints, and everything, and a few better dates overall. But again, because of the condition, and they are rough, really no extra value. But I will definitely double check them, especially that one, against my collection to see if I have any upgrades. If I do, I'll show the upgrades. If not, we'll move on to the SLQs next. Well, I'm back because surprisingly, we have 3 upgrades. I thought this one would upgrade for sure. This is my 1892 O, and of course the one that we got today, definitely much nicer. The 1905S better date, I barely had an example that you can even read, so definitely will take this as an upgrade. Even though it's pretty ugly, it's definitely nicer than the one I had. And then this is my 1909S. It's not in that bad a shape, but the one we found today has a little bit better details, a little bit more in Liberty, and the main kicker was the reverse is definitely much better. So 3 upgrades to plug into my collection. That makes me happy. Did not expect that. That's cool. Now we'll move on to the SLQs after I get those plugged in and see if we have any better dates in there as well. We have finished the Standing Liberty quarters, and there are a few better coins in here. I'll just kick it off at the top. This is a dateless, no mint mark. Can't figure it out. This is a dateless, but it does have a Denver mint mark. Still can't figure it out. We got some 1925s. We got some 1926s, some 1927s, 28s, 29s, and 30s. And I put the nicest coin on top of each stack if it's the same year and mint. And some of these SLQs are definitely decent, in that fine to very fine range at the best. But I'll still take them because they're still dated with good details. As far as the 2 better dates and better condition, we do have a 1926 Denver. That's in pretty decent shape for a circulated SLQ quarter. Probably worth double what I paid based on the condition, and I'll take that. And then we also had a 1929 Denver. Really not much of a better date, but if it's a higher grade, it has a little more value. And it is definitely a little higher grade than Cole, so we'll definitely take that one as well. The find of the SLQs, though, surprisingly, we had a Type 1 1917 dated. 1917 Type 1, no stars below the eagle, and it has decent detail, but more importantly, it has a date that's legible, a full date, 1917. So that's the find of the SLQs. I mean, it's not worth a ton of money. It's probably a $25 to $50 coin, I would say, in this condition. I mean, it's definitely better than good. Maybe better than VG, but definitely not higher than fine. And it's definitely a nice surprise to grab that. Quickly going to check all these against my SLQs. I highly doubt any upgraders. If there is any, it'd probably be these two, but we'll check anyway. If I have an upgrade, I'll show it. Otherwise, it's time to get on to the dimes last. Well, we did have one upgrade in my SLQ book. I did not have a really nice 1926 Denver. And even though the one I got today is not a lot nicer, it definitely has decent detail and it definitely beats out the one I had. So we'll go ahead and upgrade that. Now that we've done that, move on to the Barber Dimes. And just as a quick note, I took a quick peek at both of these. They're common Standing Liberty dimes, so nothing really to report there. Just an 1875 with damage and an 1886 Philadelphia in slick shape. I'll be back with the Barber dime sort in just a moment. Man, I'll tell you, I'm sorting through these Barber dimes and I had quite the scare. Under the scope, right here, I have a 1903, and when I flipped it, I thought it looked like it might have had a mint mark, even though it might just be damage. I put it under the scope, and at first glance, I thought I saw an S mint mark right here. Unfortunately, after a closer scrutiny, I think that's just some timely damage. The S mint mark on the 1903S is a lot more pronounced, and it's hard to believe that the mint mark would be damaged and look that small and resemble an S. I think it's just damage, but man, when I scoped it from this distance, looks like a 1903S. But if you look at the S mint mark, it is pretty large, and even on worn examples, you can see it pretty clearly. Here's a 1905S, and you can see it no problem. I have a hard time believing that that little tiny damage is actually an S mint mark, although it gave me quite the scare. I will pull it aside, do some diagnostics on it, and you can see it barely has anything showing at this angle, but there is something down there. I think it's just damage. But man, had it been a 1903S, that would have been a monster score, because that is definitely a key date Barber dime. Either way, gave me a nice little bit of fun for a second. We'll call it a 1903 Philly for now, unless I can prove otherwise, and get back to the sort. We have one more stack, and this is the nicer stuff that I had segregated as I was sorting them, and I have to put them on top because they're the nicest ones of those coins that I can see. But I'll tell you right now, this is already the best Barber dime collection I've ever bought, and it's definitely a collection. I don't know if somebody pulled these out of a book and stuck them in a bag and ran over to my silver dealer and he didn't even look at them, but there is some crazy better dates in here. Nearly a complete set of a lot of the dates and mints, and I still have the nice ones to go through. But I bring in because, take a look at this. It's not in the best shape, but we definitely have what I thought I had earlier now. A 1903 San Francisco key date Barber dime. Unbelievable. Like I said, it's not in the greatest shape, but when we put it under the scope here, it's definitely a 1903. And it's definitely a San Francisco minted coin. There's other better dates up here too, and I just want to get through the sort here, but man, holy cow, we'll definitely take that 1903 S. So many S mints, so many New Orleans mints, and now we've got the nice ones still to sort, so let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be back in just a moment. Unbelievable. Actually, I decided before I put these on top of those, I just give you guys a quick look at these nicer Barber dimes. Every single one of them has nearly complete or complete Liberty on them. I haven't checked the mints yet. I just laid them out. They're just so much nicer than the rest that I wanted to give you guys a little quick look at them before they get lost in the shuffle. But definitely some beauties. This one looks like it's probably been cleaned before, but still a nice looking dime. And even though this one's darker, also has absolutely fantastic details. Wow. Anyway, let me get these put on top, and I'll give you guys a recap of all the Barber Dimes we got today. Well, here they are. Unbelievable. Believe it or not, I went ahead and double checked the records. There's only 18 Barber Dimes not here to complete an entire Barber Dime collection. Now, a lot of those are the very tough dates, semi-key dates and key dates and low mintages, but we did get our fair share of better dates as well. I can spend a lot of time going through all these. I'll spend a little bit of time from New Orleans, 1892, 98, 99, 01, 02, 03, 05, 6, 7, 8, and 9. From Philadelphia, every year is represented except for 1893, 94, 95, and 96. All the other years represented. From Denver, we start in 1906. We have that one, 08, 10, 11, 12, and 14. And then from San Francisco, we have quite a few as well. 93S, 95S, 98S, 99S, 202S's, the 03S key date, 205S's, 206S's, an 07S, 08S, 09S, 211S's, 212S's, 14, 15, and 16S. Unbelievable. The best dates in here are going to be the 1892-0, the 93S, the 95S, the 98 and 99-0, the 98 and 99S, and of course the 1903S. Man, I am certain we're going to have additions and upgrades to my Barber Dime collection with all of these, including the beauties. Finally, we also had that completely destroyed one right at the mint mark. It doesn't matter. I have a full 1914 set right here, so it doesn't matter which one it would have been because they're all pretty common, but pretty beat up. We'll just put that to the side. Let me go through this, see what kind of upgrades and additions I have, and I'll bring you back in with a look at what I was able to do. Well, I went ahead and culled through all of the Barber Dimes, and it was missing 18, but I had to steal 3 from that lot to fill spots in my book. We actually were able to upgrade 14 of my personal dimes and fill 3 more spots. And this is a book I've only been working on since, 2017 from just junk silver purchases. And it's crazy to think that after all of the purchases, I'm only missing 3 dimes on the first page and 1 Barber Dime on the last page. So we're only missing 4 Barber Dimes for a complete collection. And for sake of time, the video's been long. I don't need to go through all of these dimes. Most of them are in pretty rough shape, although we upgraded 14 today, and that makes me happy. At the end of the day, it was a fun junk silver purchase and hunt. This is why I buy junk silver, because you never know what you're going to get. And even though the premiums are tough right now, whenever you score some better dates, some better mints, or some better condition coins, it feels like you come up anyway. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this junk silver purchase and hunt with me. If you did, I'd appreciate that thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting, happy stacking, and thanks for watching.